Do you want to go to a place? I want to go to a place. Do you want to go to a place? I want to go to a place. I can take you there. I can take you there. Do you want to go to a place? I can take you there. Say do you want to go to a place?
Search far and wide by your side. Far and wide by your side. Search far and wide.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, nieces, nephews, sisters, and brothers. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and let me know how I'm coming in. Good morning and welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I am TJ Randolph, and it is Mosaic because I am a beautiful work of art made of many broken pieces. Okay. This is impromptu. I wasn't planning to do it, but it came to my mind. So I said, let's go for it. Okay. Let me do the announcements real quick. Hold one. Okay, let's get to the announcements really quick. You know, I got to shout out my baby, my hardworking trucker man, and all the truckers that are traveling these highways and byways, bringing us our much needed goods and keeping the supply chain moving. Okay. Shout out to my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, whose song now is on my intro. Follow him on all streaming platforms. Follow him on IG on I Am Spunk. Okay. Shout out to my niecey Pooh, Lucky Marie, who put together the intro that I absolutely love. Love, love, love. Again, okay, thank you all for coming through yesterday. And I thank those of you who subscribed to my channel for the first time. Please hit the like button. Now I have my jazz playing in the background. Let me know if it's too loud. You know, I'm going to be playing jazz because your Amy is in her 50s and it calms me. Okay. All right. So you saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You're probably wondering why. Okay, what this lady going to be talking about? What does Sarah Garvey and Donovan Sharp have in common? And this is just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree. But before I do that, let me go ahead and shout out a couple of people who came on through. Of course, my little sis, thank you so much for coming through, always holding it down. I got something coming for you. You know this. Not the villain trucker. Okay, not the villain trucker. Nicole Marie, thank you so much for coming through. Nephew Truth, thank you for coming through. Okay, I appreciate you. Let me go put my glasses on. So the question is, TJ, what do you think Sarah Garvey and Donovan Sharp have in common? And I'm going to say that both of them, in my personal opinion, did something and said something about people that they, oh, you can barely hear the music. Said, had to come or came forward with feelings about someone that they cared about, that they may have respected and or loved, and they felt the need to disclose some things, how they were personally affected based on how they were treated. Okay, so we're not going to go to all of Sarah Garvey's stuff. I'm sure by now everyone has seen what he had to say and have their own opinions about what Sarah Garvey had to say. But I want to focus on how he started his stream, and then we're going to talk about it from there. Hold on. I guess I should have been ready. And I think I'm supposed to mute. So I'm gonna mute and put a 1 in the chat if when I mute you can't hear it, so I can know I need to do something.
Before we even get started,
Tell them.
if you have watched 2 or more of our videos and you have not subscribed, then we have what, pal?
Beef.
What do we have?
Beef.
Exactly. So you better get doing that right now. Before
Tell
we
'em.
even get started, all right? If you have watched 2 or more of our videos and you have not subscribed,
Tell them.
then we have what, pal?
Beef.
What have we got?
Beef.
Exactly. So you better get doing that right now. Over to you, pal.
I'm making this video today that I didn't initially want to make, but there comes a time when we're all at a crossroad and have to make a decision. And sometimes that decision can affect you morally, it can affect you spiritually, and it can affect you financially. But it's a decision that we can't shy away from. Now, recently, Just Pearly Things has been caught up in some controversy. Why? She has interviewed avid racist and known racist.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. So, I mean, y'all thought I was probably gonna go forward further into his dialogue, but no, I'm gonna stop right there. And the reason why I'm gonna stop right there is because he stated there comes a time that you have to make a decision. Sometimes it's a decision that you don't want to make. He said it's a video that he didn't want to make, but he felt that it's one that he needed to make because certain decisions you make will affect you morally, spiritually, in some instance, financially. Okay? So once I saw that, I started reading the comments. And the comments, you know, in as much as there were a large number of people who thought what he did was honorable, forthright, courageous, you know, showing his integrity, morals, and principles, there were others that thought he's bitter, he's hating, he's jealous, he's a traitor. So it got me to thinking, and I can be completely wrong because, you know, I don't have a problem being wrong. It got me to thinking about, I bet many of those people who took the negative position of his coming forward probably have not been in positions where they had to exercise real integrity, real morals, real principles. So they wouldn't understand that. They wouldn't understand what that is. They wouldn't understand what integrity is. They wouldn't understand what intestinal fortitude. So I'm about to grow you. I'm about to grow you. Let's get started, shall we? Hold one. Integrity. Look it up. Integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness, similar to honesty, uprightness, rectitude, honor, probity. Okay? Some of y'all might not know what that means. Let me go a step further. Intestinal fortitude. I love that phrase. Intestinal fortitude. It refers to the gut, obviously, intestine. But intestinal fortitude, the courage and the determination necessary to do something difficult or unpleasant. I'm going to read it again. The courage and determination necessary to do something difficult or unpleasant. Let me tell you why it resonates with me. See, I've been doing this YouTube thing just, almost 2 years, but I've been a person placed in a position of authority and responsibility for most of my adult life. Most of my adult life. Shout out to El Wapo and Beautiful Lies, because he did a breakdown last night of Sarah Garvey's video. And again, because he, like me, military officers, we were placed in positions of authority and trust and responsibility for not just people, money, equipment, confidential information. We understand what intestinal fortitude is. And we understand what making difficult decisions look like. Now, people are talking about he's hating and he's trying to clout chase. Let me ask you something. What did it benefit him to do that? Because as he stated, if you all saw the video, he was pretty much already established before he started working with Pearl. And as he stated out of his own mouth, he was there from the beginning when she came over to the UK. So my question is, what did he have to benefit from by saying what he said? To me, he grappled with that decision because, as you heard in his video, he tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. He tried to educate her on some things, and given the benefit of the doubt, we've all been there. I know I have. Not just with Caucasian people, but some of my own. Hit the like button. So what did it profit him? I submit to you that, again, shout out to my mentors of my military and civil service careers, but particularly my military, my first boss. Shout out to my veterans. My boss told me as a young lieutenant, he said, Terry, in this role, you're going to make some difficult decisions. He said, you're going to have to go up against people that could possibly hold your career in your hands. And you're going to have to decide if you'll take the path of least resistance or if you stand up for what you believe in. Understanding, standing up for what you believe in may cost you. Are you prepared to pay the cost? Hey, some of y'all wouldn't do that. Some of y'all wouldn't do it. It's tantamount to people who say, if you see something, say something. And then you get a whistleblower and then you want to crap all over them, not knowing what it took for them to do that, because they realized the cost. The cost. So, Sarah Garvey, now I'm gonna go over to Donovan Sharp. I don't know him. I don't particularly care for his content at all. But there was one show I happened to see. It's been several months ago, and he was talking about Kevin. He was talking about some discord that happened between him and Kevin, and how he kept certain things secret. And some may say, well, why didn't he share those things when Kevin was alive? That's for him to talk about. But when he was talking about, and I'm paraphrasing, at one point he felt betrayed by a person who he considered a friend, whom he loved, who he respected, who before he blew up was, collaborating, communicating with Donovan Sharp, but something changed and then just kind of basically left him in the wind. And initially I'm looking at what, the side eye. But at one point he started to cry. And some people may say, well, TJ, that may have been for show. Maybe. But I don't believe it was. And I'm going to tell you why. Because as he started to explain some things that happened between he and Kevin and the conversation, I said, that sounds like Kevin. Because I've known him for over 30 years. And in as much as certain things change, certain things stay the same. People might say that about me. And when I saw the tears in his eyes, I believed it. Now you may call me a fool. Maybe I am. But because I know or knew certain aspects of Kevin's character, I believed what he was saying. And I believed it was hard for him to admit that and come forward, because he cared about him. And it hurt him. Kevin, it hurt him. Again, I don't know for sure, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am. And I think I put it in his comments to that end, stating I was kind of skeptical at first. I said, but as you explained further, I said to myself, that does sound like Kevin. The Kevin that I knew. Now, I'm not going to, slander him. And that's not what this is about. My point is, what do Sarah Garvey and Donovan Sharp have in common, in my opinion, is that they both, for whatever their reasons were, felt the need to unburden themselves, whether we like them personally or whether we like their content or not. They unburdened themselves because of the hurt and disappointment they felt for people that they cared about. Let me see what I got here. Well, no, it's not a fool again, and that's the beauty. We have the option to change our minds. Like many of y'all will change your minds about me, and that's fine. Yeah. Okay, hold on a minute. So that's what they have in common. So what I want to talk about, really want to touch upon is integrity. There have been many things in my personal life and in my career that I could have taken the path of least resistance. And as I've gotten older, I've learned certain fights I want to pick, and certain ones I don't. But I've always had to live with myself. And maybe I feel this way because of how I grew up. Y'all know my dad, in his early years, wasn't the most scrupulous person. He shared that his own testimony. Thank God he's different. Certain things I saw growing up, certain things I experienced growing up, yes, by a single mother, but certain things I saw from the man in my life, my grandfather, and I saw what kind of man he was. So I've always been the one to fight for what's right. And sometimes it worked well, and sometimes it didn't. But I had to live with myself. I couldn't be bought. And what I mean by that, I couldn't be bought with a promotion. And I couldn't be threatened either. So this is a real quick dialogue here, but I'm going to just drop the link because, again, I was really, I'm not going to say saddened, but I'm really coming to find out, as I see in social media, it is difficult for people to believe that people are doing things or saying things because it is right. It is honorable. It shows integrity, opposed to having ulterior motives. And maybe people think that because that's all they know. That's the way they think because that's what they would do. They don't know what it's like to do something for someone without expecting something back. Shout out to my niecey Pooh. We had a couple of talks one time. It's been maybe over a year ago. And I shared with her, shout out to my niece Pooh, She's So Lucky, aka Lucky Marie. I said, the way that you can tell that someone really is about you is that they are willing to do things for you, with you, support you, promote you, and not expect anything in return. It's nice if you give them something in return, but that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want to do it. That's how I live my life. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Anybody feel like, come up and share with me? Because again, this conversation this morning is about integrity, morals, principles, conscience, leading by example. Because here's the thing, that young man, Sarah Garvey, that's what you do by leading by example. And here's the thing, I have never had a problem anybody following me. Some people will say, well, women are not leaders. You take that with you, because I have some men and women who would beg to differ. Now, I'm not trying to lead nobody into battle. I ain't never been that female say, I want to be on the front line. That ain't me. But within my circle of influence, oh yeah, I've led people. And it's interesting, the impact that you've had. Impact over impression, I say, you can take that with you. When you leave somewhere and they still reaching out for you for your advice, your opinion, your ear, because they value you. I'm proud to say I still have that. I'm proud to say that people who worked for me like over 20 years ago still reach out to me. LT, what do you think about this? I'm honored. Why? Integrity, principles, intestinal fortitude. They know I go to bat for them. Hold on. What up, sis?
Hey sis, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. This is I'm glad you're doing this because this is a very good subject to talk about. You know, you and I are older. We from an older generation of where, you know, all those things that you talked about, integrity, morals, values, scruples, um, etiquette, all those things were important to us coming up. It was instilled and ingrained in our very DNA from our families, you know, that passed down throughout, you know, our generations. So
Yes.
to look and see on social media now that the lack thereof of that now, it really bothers me. And when someone comes out, like you said, which is a very hard thing to do when they stand up for right, you tend to be the last man or the last woman standing on the island alone. You tend
Yes.
to be because there's a cult like sensation that's going on now with very popular content creators and see, and that's what influence gets you. And when it's in the wrong hands, and when you cannot call out someone that you know is wrong just because you subscribe to them, rock with them, or whatever, that's where the problem begins, because there is a God complex going on with a lot of these content creators, and they have their worshipers. I'm
Sycophants.
Yeah, and so when someone comes out like this young man has come out, you have to think that it's very hard for him to do. He's going to deal with the backlash and the consequences, and a lot of it's sad, but I've noticed the passion, the integrity, and all those things. You can tell that it's been thrown out the window, and a lot of these content creators and their subscribers and followers have definitely sold out, you know, for the bag, for the clout, for the clicks, for the views, you know. And I get it. I understand that it's a business for a lot of people that only do just that. I get it. But again, they have sold them souls, you know, for the lack of the integrity, for the lack of the morals and the values, and for the lack of just for what's right, period. Just for the lack of what's right.
Hold on,
They
hold
don't
on,
care.
hold on. I would argue baby boomers had the least morals. They were hippies and disobeyed their parents. Our generation is a product of what you all start. Okay.
That's his
If
opinion.
that's your
Well,
opinion.
well, I'm
If
not
you
a hippie. I wasn't a hippie. I know some hippies, but
but peep game on this one. We saw, and my grandfather, my mother is a boomer. My grandfather was a traditionalist, or they say the silent generation.
hmm
Growing up under the influence of my grandfather, deals were made on handshakes
yep,
when your word meant something.
your word was bond. It's all you had in this world as a man, especially as a man. They
And
word
if
was
you want to talk
bond.
about disobeying our parents, I'm sorry, show me what generation hasn't.
Exactly. And
Show me
what
what
generation didn't
generation
rebel?
hasn't. What generation hasn't rebelled and disobeyed their parents? Even my
Absolutely.
mama did.
Absolutely.
So try again.
Absolutely.
But what we're
But
talking about, and again, I'm not, and see, here's the thing. I'm not talking about specific generations of people in my comment. I'm talking about the culture as a whole.
as a whole. hmm
But see, here you go
hmm
talking about that. I'm talking about people as a whole because we got some sprinklings of all generations in this foolishness that have
But see,
sold their
sis,
soul for a dollar.
but this is why we never get anywhere, because soon as we talk about a subject, they come back with the blame. They play the
Correct.
blame game. And that's why we never get anywhere. Because when we specifically talking about a thing, they want to talk about a it. No, we're talking about a thing right now, not a it. So let's stay on the subject at hand and not play the blame game. This is why the gender wars is not getting us anywhere. This is why we so divided. is because we play the blame game. When is the accountability for said subject is going to stand, and then that be it, without somebody saying, well, you do this, well, you didn't do that. This is what we always do.
I know.
And it's got to stop.
I
But
know.
thank you, sis. I just want to say thank you. I'm glad you're talking about this. I think that this is a very good subject, and I do believe that a lot of women, especially us older women, if we're leading by example and trying to set the example in these YouTube streets for the younger women generation, I believe a conversation do need to be had about upholding integrity, upholding yourself as a woman, having some values, some morals, some standards, some manners about things.
Sis, before you go, let's take a look at this comment. Not blame, just tell the whole story. And I don't know what half of it you're purporting that I told. I'm speaking in my observation of the societal norm.
Oh God.
So I'm not sure what you're talking about. And again, when I start about my conversation, I'm talking about in general.
Exactly.
Because
but it's always somebody always want to be combative. That's the problem. It just they want to be combative instead of having the conversation. Let's have the conversation without being combative and doing the blame game. Can we do that? And that's our problem. We lack communication skills.
And to that point, again, my point about Sarah Garvey is how many of us in any given situation, whether it's in public or private, would have taken a stand and that could result in something that could be detrimental to us.
Absolutely.
How many of us have done that?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. When I have done it, like I said, sometimes it worked out well for me, and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing about it is, I could sleep at night knowing that I did the right thing, and I stood up for what was right and what I believed in that was right, because it would bother me at night, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I knew that I was a part of or knew something that was absolutely dead set wrong or immoral or unethical, and I allowed it, and I just sat there. Even if I didn't say anything, I was still complicit in it. And see, that's what they don't get.
Yes.
Even if you don't say anything, but you know what's going on, you're complicit in it. You're saying it's okay.
Stop right there. Right. And see, here's another thing. Maybe that's another reason why I gravitated toward human resources. Because in my role as a human resources professional, labor and employee relations specialist, I had to deal with investigations about sexual harassment, misconduct, all this kind of stuff. And when we would have people that would report, say, for instance, you reported to me, sis, that someone did something, you saw them doing something wrong that was against organizational policy or harassment or whatever. I had to teach them, the moment they told you, you are now responsible for reporting, because if you don't report it, you could be held responsible as well, because you knew and said nothing.
Absolutely. So what's the use? What's the use of having a whole see if you see something, say something, like you said earlier, and then when you see it and say something, you get the backlash, you get the repercussions. You know, people get upset and mad with you. See, because they want everyone to acquiesce and roll with the wrong thing when it's wrong. And just because the majority rolls with it, don't make it still wrong. You could have 90% of the people roll with something that they know is wrong, but that 10% is the one that's going to get the backlash when they stand for what's right. They think just because it's a majority that makes it right. No, 90% of the people can be wrong. It's the hypocrisy for me. I don't know.
And I'm going to say shout out to Sarah Garvey, because again, this is more about Sarah Garvey than Donovan Sharp. But I wanted to compare the two because again, and the reason why I thought it, because I could tell by looking at, when I thought about the video that Donovan Sharp did, and I thought about what Sarah Garvey did, I could tell on both of these men, it was hard for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they cared about those people in their respective ways. They respected those people in their respective ways.
Yeah,
they considered
absolutely.
them friends in their respective ways. And again, I'm sorry, but if a man is, listen, if a man starts to tear up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm inclined to think, okay, there might be something to that.
Yeah, exactly. Get emotional and well up. You absolutely right. And I want to say, because I saw the comment that Eugene Steele put in. Listen, we've all, and I start to put in the little title. Everybody plays a fool sometimes. What was the name of that group that sung that song? Listen, we all been there. We all. I think it was the Main Ingredients or the Manhattan, one of them groups. But listen, we all been there. Everybody, we all have been in that spot where we followed, believed, trusted in somebody, and it turned out to be wrong. You find out that they're not who you think they are, or whatever. They ethics or standards don't meet yours, and you just can't rock with it no more. I know I found that out about a lot of content creators since I've been on YouTube. And I don't rock with them anymore, and it's okay.
And I found out out about people that have been in my personal life. It happens.
Absolutely. Hey, family and friends.
It happens. It does.
I got family I love from way over here. Way over here. It's all good.
Okay, I agree. And not all criticism is jealousy.
Listen, sis.
You said that,
right? But that's been a lot of comments. That's been the defense. That's the first thing they say. You jealous? You're hating? You just mad because you don't have as many subscribers and numbers? You just mad? Nah. How about it's fucking wrong? How about that? How about they wrong? And they getting called out on the shiznit. How about that? So, stop it with the deflection of, and listen, that's the first thing come out their mouth when they have no substantial, factual talking points. That's all they know to say. Oh, you just mad. You just jealous. You just mad because you ain't got subscribe. You just mad because you ain't getting paid and they get paid. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to play this one more again because I think it's important. Just 1 second.
That I didn't initially want to make. But there comes a time when we're all at a crossroad and have to make a decision. And sometimes that decision can affect you morally, it can affect you spiritually, and it can affect you financially. But it's a decision that we can't shy away from. Now, recently,
you're on mute, sis. You're on mute.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This man's eloquence.
Yeah.
This man's eloquence, his countenance. I'm sorry, that got some rose up in me. That's what you call leading by example.
Exactly. And, just to know he was very calm, cool, collected. He never got upset. He never name called. He never slandered. And he just told what I see as his truth. Period.
And again, what profited him? What profited him to do what he did? I would submit nothing.
Exactly. And you don't think that he don't know before he even did it that he was going to get the backlash? Of course he knew. But he did it anyway. But see, it's the cowards for me that, like I said, that acquiesce, that stand and know that something is wrong and a thing is a thing, and they say nothing. You're complicit. You're just as guilty. And that's all I want to say, sis. You rock and keep doing it. I'll keep listening in the background. I got to get back to work. And it's so funny you said that because my day job is payroll and HR. So I know exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about integrity and morals and values and having a code of ethics that you have to, stand by and stand on. So absolutely. But keep doing your thing, sis.
Thank you. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. This has been just a quick little live because, like I said, it really got to me. And I'm sharing this with you to inspire those of you who have been at a crossroads. Okay? And have taken the path of least resistance. For the bag. I got to live with myself. And I lead by example. And leading by example don't mean you do everything right all the time. But when it counts, I got chills. When it counts, you're willing to stand and take the fiery darts because you know they're coming. You know they're coming. You know they're coming. So I'm about to get ready to do my duty. Oh, y'all remember my dog had surgery yesterday? He is mad at me because he got this cone on and he has to keep on for a week. This cone on and he is banging into everything. Banging into everything. He is pissed. Okay. But anyway, thank y'all for coming through. Please hit the like button on your way out. Please comment, share your comments. And until the next time, again, shout out to my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams. We're going to listen to his Sunshine and Rain on the way out. Until the next time, ciao for now.
Said I got a story to tell. You don't hear me. Said I got a story about a girl. Yeah. Check. See, I've been up all night typing this love letter. Hoping you open the message saying I love you better. You've been keeping me on red. I know I'm out the picture. Ain't nothing worse than the wave since the request. I sliding on a nigga wave like a drop by. Saw you out, so I figured out I'd say hi. Ain't no pressure, just want a good time. Something wicked to share up on a timeline. She's my type of girl. Magic carpet around the world. She'll show you things that you can't imagine. Straight hair or fancy curl, bright as diamonds, clutch as pearls. She's my one and only digital girl. My sunshine and the rain. Sunshine and the rain. My sunshine and the rain. Oh, my. My sunshine and the rain. Sunshine and the rain. Mm-hmm.
First we outside, you beaming your light, giving me shades of dope. Now I'm walking in pools of water, my Yeezy. So you had a faith that get Jesus hope, but the devil is pleased. I'm on my knees, I intercede for our peace. Girl, your love is the antidote. Body like a goddess, your beauty on displays in the finest museums. You shining like discos, but who knew that through the fire hard to grow this froze? Unwrap your envelope, baby, let's disclose. I don't beat around bushes, no bad on tiptoes. Not a ballerina, but I see balances drop jaws from your spoken words that rain dancing in tip jars. I applaud you, but these problems we face feeling so colossal. You push shovels with dirt, digging on my fossils. Every hurt I try and fix, you say I scarred you. I've dropped dimes before, don't tell me that I lost you. It's two sides to every coin, and every road's gonna have its thorns. I'm preaching these stems, my palms bleed. Maybe your rain can rinse these stains from these leaves, cause I still need
My sunshine and the rain. My sunshine and the rain. Sunshine. My sunshine and the rain.
yeah.
My sunshine.